We're staying in our GF1031 southeastmadison.dwg file. Now, in the last video, we created our page setup, got our title block neat and tidy on the sheet, and we've basically got a blank canvas to work to. What we need to start thinking about now, though, is placing scaled viewports onto our ISO A1 landscape sheet. Now, to do that, let's go to our Layers panel here and click on Layer Properties first. Now, I'm just going to expand this a little bit here so you can see the names of the layers. If I come all the way down to the bottom here, can you see viewports? Notice it's got a little like no entry symbol, and that's a little toggle. It basically means that that layer will not plot if I plot the drawing. And you do not want your viewports to plot because they're basically areas on your sheet of differing scales, just as reference for you. You'll see them in the drawing, but you don't want them plotting. Double click on the little sheet of paper next to viewports to make it the current drafting layer. And then we'll close the Layer Properties Manager. So we've got all that set up and ready to go. We're going to jump back to the Model tab quickly. If I double click on the wheel to zoom extents now, just to give you an idea of scale, to give you a conception of scale, I've got to fit that floor plan onto that sheet there. That is my title block that is now in the Layout tab. I'm going to zoom in on the title block again, click, release the mouse button, drag, click again. All those objects can be erased. Right click, erase on the shortcut menu, double click on the wheel again to zoom extents. Good CAD practice. Always zoom to extents when you go from one space to the other space. Let's go back to our ISO A1 landscape layout tab. Now we're already on the viewports layer, so we can start thinking about placing some viewports in our layout tab. Now, weirdly enough, there is also a layout tab now on the ribbon as well. Now this layout tab here is contextual, and it'll only come up when you're in one of the layout tabs down here bottom left. And you'll notice we have a layout viewports panel. Click on the flyout where it says rectangular, and you can have a rectangular, a polygonal, or object-based viewport. So you could draw a circle and make it a viewport if you wanted to. I'm going to use rectangular, and I'm going to come in. Don't snap exactly to the sheet edge like that. Come away a little bit. Left-click, and just drag as if you're placing a selection window. And you want to get it to about there. And you'll notice now that it's given you a zoomed extents view of what is in the model tab. So now you can see how we can get everything in the model space into the paper space on the layout tab. Now at the moment, I haven't got a clue what scale that view is at. That's what we've got to do next. So we're going to double click inside the viewport boundary, and that makes the viewport active. If I come down here now, can you see we've got a really weird number? So it's not a known scale, it's just a weird ratio of something to something. If I click here, I've got all my default scales available. Now I work to metric scales. If you want your imperial scales, click on custom and you can reset. If you click on reset and follow the prompts, you can either have imperial or metric scales. I'm going to cancel that now and go back to my flyout, and I want a 1 to 100 scale. So you'll notice now that 1 to 100 scale fits nicely in that viewport. I'm going to double click outside the viewport boundary to deactivate it. And what I am going to do is click on the viewport edge and utilize the grips and the polar tracking. If I click on that grip there and drag it down, I can resize the viewport utilizing the grips, and then I can move the viewport to economize on my sheet space. So let's get that to there like that. That'll do. Hit escape a couple of times. Select the viewport again, right click, select move on the shortcut menu. Use the top left corner there. Just drag it up a little bit. It doesn't have to go exactly anywhere, but about there will do. So that gives us a nice 1 to 100 scale viewport of a general arrangement of everything that's in the model space. One last thing, always lock your viewport. So select it, click on the little padlock. Make sure it's locked. Just hit escape a couple of times to deselect the viewport. We're going to place a second viewport now of a different view from the model space. So again, We go up to the layout viewports and click on the flyout. We want rectangular again. And I'm going to pick a point here, drag across to about there and click there. I'm not being exact with the placement of these viewports. You can examine that and explore that further offline later. But again, it has zoomed to the extent of what is in the model space. So if I now double click and zoom in on the restrooms here and get a nice view of the restrooms in the middle of that viewport, you'll notice now that I've got a totally different view in that viewport, and I can have different views of all different aspects of what is in the model tab, in the model space. So I'm going to now go down here to the status bar. Again, you can see I've got a really weird number. I'm going to try a scale of, say, 1 to 30 there, which is a little bit big. If I go 1 to 40, that fits nicely in the viewport. So that's a 1 to 40 representation of the restrooms from the model. Double click outside the viewport, click on the edge of the viewport and lock the viewport. Hit escape to deselect. You've now got 2 standard scale viewports set up nicely in your layout tab to communicate your design intent.